Hi, my name is Tim Nagy. I'm a partner in the financial markets regulatory and enforcement practice of Mayer Brown. Thank you for joining me today for a brief discussion of the SEC's recent observations from its broker-dealer exams related to regulation best interest. As you know, regulation best interest, or Reg BI, was adopted in 2019 with a compliance date of June 30th, 2020. The SEC previously reported on its initial exams of firms' written policies and procedures and on the implementation of such procedures. In its most recent observations issued in January of this year, the SEC noted that it is incorporating compliance with Reg BI into its retail-focused exams of broker-dealers. The following are some of the key observations from the exam staff. With respect to the compliance obligation, the SEC exam staff found: 1, that firms maintained generic written policies and procedures that were not sufficiently tailored to the firm's business. 2, firms lacked procedures specifying when and by whom disclosures were to be created or updated. And 3, firms lacked processes to demonstrate that disclosures were in fact provided to retail customers. Specific to the CARE obligation, the SEC identified a number of ways in which firm policies and procedures were not reasonably designed to achieve compliance. This includes directing financial professionals to consider reasonably available alternatives without providing guidance as to how to do so. Similarly, financial professionals were not provided guidance as to how to consider costs associated with an investment recommendation. In other instances, firms created systems to evaluate costs or available alternatives, but did not mandate or provide instruction on the uses of the systems. The SEC exam staff also noted that firms did not sufficiently adapt or modify their surveillance systems following the implementation of Reg BI. In some instances, firms did not consider whether existing systems were reasonably designed with respect to, for instance, recommendations of rollovers, account recommendations, and implicit hold recommendations. The staff also criticized firms for maintaining documentation locally rather than in a centralized location, which resulted in less frequent firm reviews for compliance. With respect to the conflicts of interest obligation, the staff noted that firms failed to establish a structure, including a assignment of responsibility, for how conflicts are to be identified or addressed. In other instances, firms' procedures defined conflicts in very general terms or limited to a standard suite of prohibited activities. The staff also noted that some firms relied on disclosure alone to mitigate a conflict without any corresponding measures to attempt to mitigate the conflict. Finally, the staff made findings specific to the disclosure obligation. The staff emphasized that referencing the required disclosures on a website or in another document does not satisfy the obligation to deliver the Reg BI disclosures. The staff also included observations specific to the disclosure obligations of duly registered individuals. These individuals have an added responsibility to disclose the capacity in which they are acting. Firm procedures should identify the disclosures required when a financial professional interacts with retail customers in multiple capacities. Reg BI clearly remains a focus of the regulators. I encourage you to read the risk alert published by the Division of Examinations and to visit our free writings and perspectives blog. Thank you for watching.